Hey there guys, this is Robert. I'm going to do another review today for Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. It's another IDW comic. Generally, I'm really happy with all IDW stuff, especially the Transformers stuff, which really got me into the company. This particular issue is number 22. I've come in late to the reviewing game, so it's not exactly going to be the best one you've probably ever seen. But I'm going to do my best as someone who's watched the Transformers since he was about 5, maybe even a little younger. But there are two titles of Transformers currently at IDW. One of them is More Than Meets the Eye, the one we're going to be reviewing today. The number we're going to be reviewing today is number 22, and Robots in Disguise. Basically what they did was they cut the Transformers in half. And you have some of them in that comic and some of them in this one. This one, basically what the two books are about is the war between the Autobots and Decepticons is over. But this would be what you would call their reconstruction phase after this 6 million year war. This particular one, the main character is Hot Rod. And his idea of how to rebuild Cybertron is to go and find ancient ancestors of Cybertron called the Knights of Cybertron, who he believes can bring back the culture, the honor, and the ideas of Cybertron and the Transformers altogether. And to do this, he's taken on he's taking a ship called the Lost Light, and the crew of the Lost Light is a mix between Autobots, former Decepticons, and just people who were not aligned with either one. So this is a good comic for you if you're a fan of certain characters. If you really wondering about other characters like Bumblebee and stuff like that, then maybe Robots in Disguise is more for you. But for today, we're just going to be talking about More Than Meets the Eye. Like I said, number 22. This one, like I said, with IDW stuff, the art and everything in it is great, and it's very consecutive. The only thing I don't like about it is sometimes they're a little dark. They're not as well drawn in some places, or they're a little blocky. Like this one right here. You see that, a lot of them have these more metallic looks, and in others they look a little too robotic, and some of them, they look a little too human. But in this one right here, my biggest complaint about this book so far, it's had its ups and downs. The story arcs are too long, or it's too blocky. Like this one right here is a little bit more reserved than the ones. I'm still not a big fan of this story, because what they're doing is they're doing a documentary for the Lost Light, and how they're going to find these Knights of Cybertron. Well, the story goes on from there. They're just basically going in here and retelling their story. There's Decepticons and Autobots in here because for once, they all want the same thing. They want peace, which is pretty cool. This is basically a recap of the whole story. So a lot of characters I like the original characters they've created for these stories, like Drift and Rewind and stuff like that. They've come back and they're a little bit, nicer for this story arc. This one is sort of a contained issue, which is really rare. We've got these other characters who are just, like I said before with the art part, it's a little too darker in this situation here. It gets really depressing for something that's supposed to be a little bit lighthearted, especially with Hot Rod. But not bad. Basically, what happens is you find them stopping off at a waypoint to take on supplies, and they meet this older race of Transformers, Mechanicals, and it basically becomes a one-up session between the Autobots and these, the Ammonite army. They're like, oh, we fought a war for 6 million years. We fought a war for 16 million years. We can transform into vehicles. We can transform into 5 different things at once. We can combine and become even more powerful. It's like, dude, any 6 of us can combine in several different combinations. So the Transformers have met their match. I mean, this would be like if it was Transformers versus GoBots or something like that. They're just going to try and one-up each other. My money's still on the Transformers because Optimus Prime is awesome. And so is Hot Rod and Grimlock. But you see them, they're all looking out the window. Their war currently is still going on. And the Transformers are looking outside, and they're like, "Oh, there's the queen of your, there's the leader of your race. They're signing a peace agreement." They're like, "No!" And stuff like that. Well, and that means for them their war is over. This brings up a really good point where what do you do after war? What is the casualty of war? And basically, what you would expect from a story like this. Like I said, it's a little blocky, and it goes through 15 different points of view, which is why I don't think you need to do a documentary style unless you have a particular point to it. We go on through the series, we go on through the story, and there's there's all sorts of Transformers on here. Like I said, some have a specific purpose, some of them are just cleaning or stuff like that, and they're kind of weird. They have transformation parties. Where they'll just stand around and be in a vehicle mode for a while. And it was kind of weird that I guess they're just trying to find a casual way to bring the Transformers out. But this guy right here actually ends up being one of the big pots in the story. It continues on where Hot Rod meets up with an old friend, an old soldier called Thunder Crash, who was a big Autobot hero in the war. He's an original character, so if you don't know about this guy, don't feel bad, because I didn't either. And it goes on and on. This guy apparently was the grand hoo-ha, like a General Patton or somebody like that, who had a lot of wins on his side. Hot Rod and him were friends. And he has decided he's going to go out and look for the Knights of Cybertron too. And, Rodimus and the whole crew are going to welcome him, and give him his due. But inside, Rodimus sort of doesn't want to share the glory. Can't really blame him on a lot of that, but it was his idea first. So Rodimus tries to be polite. He tries to give him his due, like I said, and it just bothers him, and he breaks down. He tells me, "This was my quest. Why are you doing this? I mean, you had all the victories in the war. You just why can't I have this?" And he tells him, well, and then the silence is suddenly broken between all this petty stuff of the leader of the Lost Light, and it turns out that he has a traitor in his mix, a remnant of the Decepticons who doesn't want peace. They don't want peace. They want to continue till they're the only survivor of the last Cybertronian war. So he betrays them. He runs out of the room. Thunder Crash is just hurt, and doesn't look too particularly good for him being a big war hero. Well, anyway, like I said, the two weakest characters on the ship, or they consider them to be weak. I thought this was brilliant on this little side story, but these two right here, they come in here and they're like, look, we're the only ones around here. We're the only two that can save the ship. So it's up to me and you, dude. So what happens is they don't have any weapons. They're not armed. This dude is like Muhammad Ali, and they're Willow size. So they've got to think of a way to get creative. So the one right here, the janitor we saw earlier, he tells him to transform. He does. And he doesn't really transform into anything but a tool or like a little cycle. Little kitty bike almost to a transformer. And the other guy comes and picks him up. And he's like, "Hey, look over there," and knocks him out. So the two weakest people that no one really gave a flying leap about end up saving the ship. And, Rodimus and Thunder Crash are just in awe because they didn't think these two could do it. Well, we find out that this was all part of the commentary on the this documentary. Like we said earlier, they're doing a documentary. And what we find out was it was for a recruitment for the Lost Light. And they have pictures of them in the bars and everything like that. Well, what happens is it doesn't work out the way they want it to. Everyone hates this video. They are rioting because it doesn't seem like they do anything on the Lost Light. All they're doing is is drinking or getting into fights, or the ship is taking an appalling amount of damage. So they're all like, yeah, your video was great, and it seems like you really like it, but your videos inspired us to do something. Join Thunder Crash's ship, and it was just so sad because they really needed the people to help them find this so they can bring culture back. But like I said, it's not a bad book. There's a great amount of art here, great stuff, and at the end they have this great shot of all of my favorite people together. A lot of these people, except for this issue, have died and gone on. I mean, there's no more Drift. He got exiled. Rodimus is still there. Rewind right here got blasted away, and they were sort of the comedic relief of it. Like I said, this review of this one is going to get the story's going to get a 3.5. It wasn't bad, it just was not what I wanted. I don't want miles and miles of story arc, but I want an important story. This one right here was just, the art will always to me get a 4.5. This one is just about the same as others, so I'm not going to give it above or beyond. I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I think I did a little bit better. Sorry I went a little over. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.